Welcome to We Didn't Plan for This, a special series from How Yoga Changed My Life. Normally on the podcast, we talk about practices like movement, breathwork, and meditation, and how they've changed people's lives. But this series, it's different. It's about the moments that shift everything, the seasons you didn't see coming, and how we keep showing up anyway. And if something here resonates with you, follow our show, share it with someone who might need it, or send us a message. Because the truth is, we didn't plan for this, but we're here.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of We Didn't Plan for This, a podcast. We've been spending some time talking with Adrienne about losing her life partner and all of the things that come along with that. And today I think we're going to focus the attention a little bit more on what happens after. You know, we talk about what happens during the moment of grieving somebody, and nobody talks about the calm after the storm and what it's like to re-regulate and find a new normal in post-traumatic areas of life. So we're going to call this Nobody Told Me About This part. Nobody told me about this. Everybody talks about it, you know, that the shock of everything that's happening, but what happens 6 months down the line when you're trying to figure out what your new life has to look like, even though it wasn't your choice. And so, talking about, we've had a lot of conversations so far about, you know, what happened and him being in the hospital and the family, and then leading up to the funeral and, you know, around all of that with the girls and everybody. What is it that you thought was going to happen?
I mean,
let's start there.
Yeah.
Like, you're a death doula certified.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
all of the things that you thought you knew before it happened to you. What did you think was going to happen?
I mean, I didn't think that he was going to die. You know, I knew that he was sick and I knew that things were bad, but he also told me for the whole time we were together that he was always going to take care of me. So I never doubted him on anything. And so I don't think I've even really talked about it on the podcast at all, but I am one of those unfortunate widows that my husband did not have a will. That's really, really devastating. We thought he had his will done. He told me he had his will done, but he didn't have his will done. And not only is his will not done, but we were in a very tumultuous financial situation. We had moved down here with a great job. You know, as we progressed in careers, jobs change. He was doing some other, jobs for other companies that really took a hit on what we needed to pay for in the house that we live in and the kids and the bills. And we've never fought about money. We never fought about money ever. It was never a conversation. It's not going to come in between the two of us. We're always going to do our best to be successful and support the family. And that's kind of what ended up happening. Was I was fortunate enough to get a job that had benefits and, you know, had a full-time job that afforded me the ability to be able to have a full-time job on my own now. And if I didn't have that job before Brian died, I would be in a much worse situation.
Absolutely.
It's bad enough that he didn't have a will. And then it's even worse that I'm in a house that's way too big, that has way too much stuff in it. I cannot afford to live the lifestyle that I used to. And I can't even get out of it yet because there's no fucking will. So I have to wait for court processes. So it's literally like, here I am going through grief and trying to manage grief. But then now I have a second job that's like, I got to figure out how to pay bills, which I can't afford. I don't have the money to stay in this house. I don't have money to stay in my car. I have to pay off an exorbitant amount of IRS debt from my husband taking out money from 401k and not managing the percentages right. I'm not blaming him. We didn't fight about money,
Yeah.
but we were not ready for this. We were not even
Yeah.
close to be ready for him to leave me. And it was like, nobody tells you as a widow the amount of loss that you have, because it's not just like decisions that you didn't want to make. Like, it's decisions you never thought you'd have to make. I never
Yeah.
thought I'd have to decide, on where he wanted to be. I didn't think I had to decide on the things like where to be buried, what he needed to be buried in, what things am I keeping? What things am I getting rid of? Where am I going to live? Where are my girls going to live? Campbell's leaving in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. She's moving to Alabama.
Yep.
That's a
To
huge
start
loss.
her life and go to school.
Yeah,
Yep.
she's starting her life. So it's this job that I have now that I did not plan for. I didn't apply for it. I didn't want this job. I don't want this life. I want my old life back. I want my husband back. I don't want to live this way. And no one warned you the amount of stress that your body goes under from physiologically losing someone. But then now it's the stability of my entire family is gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's
Your center.
everything.
The anchor point.
Yeah. And so I've had to hire a lawyer. I'm going through probate court right now, which is very time consuming. Thank God my mortgage company is working with me on a hardship program, but I can't get out of this monstrosity of a house until I become an independent administrator for his estate, which could take anywhere from 3 to 6 more months. And just to think about the fact that he died in January and it's June and I'm just bleeding money. I don't have the strength physically to do the things I need to do around this house. I don't have the time.
Right. Yeah. Or the means.
None of it, none of it. And it's starting to take a toll on me, and I'm trying my best to keep shit together. But, I told you yesterday was the first time that I've had like I don't know if it was an anxiety attack or a panic attack, but my heart rate skyrocketed. And I haven't had a heart rate that high unless I'm pushing myself in a huge hard workout, which I haven't done that in forever. Like I'm more of like, that feels good. I'll be sore tomorrow. That's it. But to feel that way in my body and that much anxiety and panic was very scary. But then I immediately knew that the only thing that I can do to control my nervous system is to breathe. And Campbell was with me, and we went and laid down in my bed. And I looked at my watch and my heart rate said 177. I was like, okay. And I took 5 breaths. That's it. 5 breaths, laying on my back, breathing. And I got my heart rate down to 70. And Campbell looks at me and she's like, whoa, how'd you do that? I'm like, breathing. Now,
the power of yogis.
Yeah, but here's the thing. My brain is still going. The thoughts are still there. The stress is still there.
Yeah.
I was able to regulate my nervous system. And Campbell says to me, well, at least now you'll have something to talk about in therapy.
Yeah. No shit, right?
I was like,
I mean, you think that the hard part is like losing your significant other.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you think that's the hardest thing that you're going to have to deal with. And that, once you learn how to carry that, then anything else should be easy. But that's just not the case.
No,
right?
No, not even close. Because it's just, I don't even feel that I'm giving myself the opportunity to fully grieve or work through my grief.
Yeah.
Because I
don't think you can.
I mean, what do I say? I say that I am on a fishing line over the black hole and it's raining anvils on me. That's what my life feels like right now. And I'm just bobbing and weaving anvils coming down and smushing me,
Yeah.
It's too much.
It is. It's too much. And especially like you said, with all of the extraneous uh tail ends of things that you didn't realize that you were all of a sudden going to be
Yeah.
the general admin and taking on this and taking on that and having to answer this. And I mean, I was there with you when the plumbers had to come.
Yeah.
Like it's from every direction.
Every direction.
um
Well, even
and
last night. Okay, so this is a perfect example of my life right now, right? Like Denver, our Bernie's mountain dog is almost 10 and she's having trouble getting up and walking now because of her hip. And then I've got Emma, who's a 3-year-old crazy bitch who just wants to play constantly. And then I have 17-year-old Bichon Charlie, who at 3 o'clock in the morning last night, his toenails are so long and his fur is so fluffy and furry and he hasn't been groomed in forever that he got his claw stuck in his fur and he was screaming at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I was like, oh, as dark as this sounds, I was like, please God, just take him right now. It's all okay.
it's his turn.
It's his turn. But then it
Yeah.
was just his claw stuck in his fur. So I had to like rip that out. But I mean, I don't have time to go to the vet to get him looked at. I don't have I don't have the money to afford to
Yeah.
get my Bernese mountain dogs groomed. These dogs are huge. I have big dogs because I had a big husband. My
Yeah.
big husband would help me move big dogs, but I'm
Yeah.
alone. I can't, my dad, like I can't ask my kids, like I can't, I'm going to be alone. Whereas like I didn't want to be alone. This was not my
Yeah.
plan. This
Yeah.
was not my decision. But like
Absolutely.
so many decisions, whether it be I have to find out from, I just got a creditor calling me. I got to call, I got to find out from the lawyer. You have to get this paperwork and it needs to be notarized and you need to send it here. And then we need a list of this and we need this information. And then it's like
Yeah.
every single bill and the last 4 digits and the balance on all the cards. And, Brian had, thank goodness, he had life insurance for his older kids. He didn't have life insurance for us. So I have no life insurance. Thank God I have my own 401k and I have our family health insurance and I have a full-time job and I'm trying to hold on to all of those different things. But it literally feels like the physical weight of the house and the stuff that's in it and the amount of stuff that needs to be done is just this physical representation of the shit of my life has become. And it makes me embarrassed and I feel guilty and I feel, I feel like I was like I'm being punished for something in some way. Sometimes I feel like that. It's like,
Yeah.
what did I do to deserve this? Like, and then I feel so incapable of doing things, but it's like, I didn't become less capable. I just have an entire second job of
Yeah.
managing the fact that there is no money and I can't pay my bills and I'm grieving and I'm trying to
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
help my kids who are going into their senior year of high school and going to college and moving away.
Yeah.
So it's like,
That's
I can't.
a whole lot of
Yeah.
added responsibility that just got dumped on you overnight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so yeah, I think your system, you're still you can't find your way yet because you can't find the forest through the trees,
Right.
right?
Right. I
There's
can't.
too much.
It was too much. And so I told you earlier, I'm going to call a couple of different companies that specialize in decluttering and like helping people downsize, or I'm assuming like going into senior care, and I need professional help. And, all of my friends and you and everybody have always, volunteered, like, we'll help, we'll do this, we'll do that. And it's like, well, I don't know what to do. So
Yeah.
I'm going to get professional help to help me figure out what I need to do and how to do it. And then I got to start asking for help.
Yeah. Out of all the unexpected jobs that showed up in your lap, what do you think surprised you the most?
Oh God. Jesus. There's so much. The thing that surprised me the most was probably how poor our country takes care of widows. Like the laws, there are some really great laws that have been released over the past decade or so that do help protect us. So like They can't just come and take my car, and they can't just come and take the house. But like with the IRS, we owe a lot of money to the IRS, and that has to do from Brian taking money out of the 401k when not having the right percentages out to cover the taxes on it. The IRS doesn't forgive that money because he's gone. So I have to still pay that. Even though
That's crazy. Yeah.
technically, if you really wanted to be something about it, you should look at it and say, well, this was his half of his expenses and this was your half of your expenses, and this is how much you owe. But no, it's now you owe it all. And we're going to fuck you one more time later on. You're not going to get to be married, filed, jointly widowed anymore. You're going to be fucking single. And I did not sign up to be single again.
Yeah.
I did not. And the fact that that's going to hurt me in a financial way, you know, I'm
And the girls.
and the girls.
It'll affect them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You know, and I think the other thing that I didn't expect was I didn't expect my husband to die and not take care of me.
Yeah.
Because that's not my husband. My husband took care of me. And I'm not saying like he took care of me like I was sitting at home eating bonbons. No, it's like my husband was my partner. I took care of him. Right. He took care of me.
Yeah.
You know, it feels like it's just such more of a loss because there's no foundation anymore for me. There's no scaffolding. There's no framework. It's just this hole.
Well, you lost your tether, right?
Yeah.
And not only that, you're also stuck in this limbo situation where you know that you can't sustain the life that you're living, but you can't move on yet because legally you're being chained to
I have to wait.
Situation because you don't have the right documentation.
Well, and that's the thing too that's crazy to me. So he, Brian has 2 kids from previous marriage. I'm calling them my kids now because I think it's weird to call them my stepkids. They're my kids too, and they're in their 30s, and they're doing phenomenal, and they're making their way through grief. And Campbell's getting ready to move with Nick, and that's going to be wonderful for her to have family and be with him. But I don't remember where I was going with it. This is the other problem that I have now too, is fucking widow brain.
I was going to say, you want to skip to that because we can talk about that real quick because most people probably know, because I know you've talked about the ADHD.
Oh God, yes. I ADHD so badly this week too.
But widow brain is definitely experienced by a lot of people post-trauma.
Yeah.
The same sort of symptoms. And so it's another level of either what you can call it attention deficit or brain fog. It's a mixture of both. And it's just because your system has been overstimulated for so long.
Yeah.
That you can't take new data and you're not able to process and match points to dots as quickly as usual. And then memory, just short-term memory is also affected significantly.
Yeah. It's awful. There's so many things that are like, I'll be walking through my house and knowing that I'm going into this room to go get something, but then something catches the corner of my eye and it's like, I see, a framed picture of Brian on the mantle or whatever. And then I just get distracted. And then I walk in the room and I'm like, I don't even know why I'm here. And then I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself to make sure that I don't fuck up in teaching my clients or in teaching my classes. So I'm trying to be specifically on at work so that I'm not putting myself in a situation where my job is going to be at risk,
Right.
But
we are in a job too where we have to be responsible not to hurt people.
Yeah, exactly.
At the least, we want them to be sore. We don't want them to be injured.
Right. And the good thing is that at least like I am a planner with my sequencing. I'm planning when I'm doing my classes and when I'm working with my clients. But my big thing is that I will look at the client and I'll say, okay, what's that body part I want you to move? Right? Like that's your, okay, move
that's your dots not connecting as quickly as they usually do.
Yeah. Exactly.
you geek out on anatomy
Oh
and
my God. Yeah.
physiology the way I do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when our brains are functioning at normal capacity, yeah, you're eating it up, and sometimes even using words that our students aren't going to know
Yeah. Yeah.
or
Exactly. Yeah.
understand because
Exactly.
you're in your head. So you're a little bit on the other end of the spectrum right now.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and I can definitely see that. I'm worried about that when I return to teaching
Yeah.
as well.
Well, and I
Um,
noticed what I did was I had a conversation with a client that I'm helping while you're gone, the mother and daughter or mother and son crew that I adore so much. And I was talking to both of them today during their sessions, and I was like, okay, so I did a bunch of research on the big toe muscle this weekend. They looked at me like, what the fuck are you talking about? And
who does that?
I'm like, well, the big toe is connected to the deep functional
Me.
line in the body, and it goes up the inside of your calf muscles to your adductors, up to
Absolutely.
your pelvic floor, up to your diaphragm. I'm like, those are all the things that we need to work on, pelvic floor stability, all this stuff. And I'm like, so think about your big toe today. And they're like, okay. And I'm
Yep.
like, why am I doing this to myself? But it's because those are the things, I guess they're the distractions that help keep me
Yeah.
grounded at work, is to
100%.
find those little moments that I can make a small little difference in a movement pattern. But like looking at the average age of a widow, right? And I think I said this before on the podcast, is sometime between like the late 50s and 60s of a woman. So that's the average age. So for someone like me who's in my early 50s, 50, 51, now I'm 51, this is a totally different time of people's lives. Like this is the time of life when your kids are leaving the nest, right? Your husband or yourself is starting to think about retirement. You're starting to, you're still working, but you're still trying to make life decisions that are going to impact you later on. So we were just starting to talk about like, well, the girls are getting ready to both be gone for college. Where do we want to end up living? So now I have to do this all on my own. I don't get to make these decisions with someone. And it's just one more thing that is impacting my mental health, my emotional health, my physical health, and those around me. I looked at my phone the other day. Campbell asked me, she goes, how many missed text messages do you have? And I go, well, the question is, how many voicemail messages do I have? When I have 183 voicemail messages, and not one of them is in reference to me besides creditors, personal loans, spam, whatever. It's like a widow. They can smell us and they're just like, let me feed on the carcass of a woman who is just a shell of herself right now. But life is still going. Life is still moving.
Having all of these different things come up every day from every angle.
Yeah.
And you have to constantly make decisions. Like, how do you think that this,
Oh,
if you want to call it widow brain or you want to call it grief or whatever it is, being in this headspace, how has that affected your ability to make decisions?
it's awful because when you think of 24 years with someone where it was like, what do you think? Well, this is what I'm going to do. What do you think? What do you think if we did this? How about if we did this? And now it's like, what the fuck am I going to do?
Right.
Well,
you don't have the other half. You don't have the sounding board.
I got nobody to soundboard off of.
Right. Exactly.
Right. Like I'm not talking to my dad. I'm not talking to my girls about this stuff. Like these are decisions that I'm a grown up and I need to make on my own now. And that is the worst feeling. It's almost like, I want to say it's not fair. It's just not fair. I didn't plan for this. It shouldn't be the fact that when you're going through grief and you're going through this big of a loss, and then on top of that, the financial devastation that my life is going through and will continue to go through. And I'm 51 years old. I'm not planning on dating or remarrying. I'm going to be by myself trying to figure out how to manage my life. And it's really hard for me to not want to just go down this rabbit hole of woe is me and I'm angry and I'm mad and I don't want to be here anymore, and I don't want to be in this situation, but I don't have the pleasure of doing that because I have people.
You don't have a choice.
I don't have a choice. Yeah. And I think that's the hard part too, is not being able to make decisions. not right now because of the court system, having to wait on all that. And even the fact of like, our family is very tight. And so
Mhm.
all four of the kids, his entire family is 100% on board with helping us get through this. And so even with all that, we still have to go through this probate process. We still have to go to court. We still have to spend thousands of dollars on legal fees and,
Mhm.
hundreds of hours and time and months of time waiting. And just the whole time I'm in a house that's 4 times what I need it to be, with expenses out the wazoo. And then the stress of, oh, now you have to clean out this house and you have to downsize and you have
Yeah.
to figure out, where are you going to sell this stuff? Who's going to buy this stuff? Where's the money going to come from? Is somebody going to buy your house? Are you going to be able to sell it? Are you going to lose money on it? What about your car? You can't afford your car. You got to sell your car, but you can't sell it till you get no, it's like this constant battle of like, where is the ground beneath me?
Absolutely. I think all of those things fall in that category of what are the things that suddenly feel impossible? I
Everything.
think, yeah, right. All of
You know what?
these moving forward.
The hardest part for me really is like so I've never been good with like admin, right? Like I'm not a good admin person. I'm not very organized. I'm organized chaos in my own way. What is it called when I can't see things without them being on the table? Object impermanence.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
object impermanence is a total thing for me. So like my brain needs to see it in order to remember to do it. And so
Or to remember it's there or
remember
to,
it's
yeah.
there. Yeah,
Yep.
remember to
Yep.
do something about it.
Yep.
So like right now, trying to go through each room of the house and pick out stuff that I know I need to get rid of or that I want to keep. And then it's like, well, I don't even know. And I don't know what it's going to look like. It's just like everything just feels like a big decision. And then returning phone calls, making calls about admin stuff, like whether
Yeah.
it's, getting somebody to come out and groom the dogs or, take the dog
Right.
to the vet, like all of those things. I don't want to do anything administratively anymore. That's been the hardest thing. My
Yeah.
admin skills are gone and I need them
Well,
more
I
than
think
any.
your battery is just drained.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And how do I get it
man, that
back?
stuff is so energy sucking.
Yeah. Yeah. Waiting on the phone
Yeah.
for 20 minutes, with
No, I
somebody
know.
to tell them
You
that, like, my husband died. I have no money. And then to get the bill, I told you earlier, I got a bill from the hospital for $135,000. Those motherfuckers never sent me a bill for anything. In fact, those motherfuckers sent me 2 sorry for your loss cards, both of them addressed to Brian. Both of them addressed to Brian. Sorry for your loss. Never sent me a letter that I owed them money, but my lawyer gets a letter that says I owe them $135,000. I'm like, what do you want me to do? Do you want to just cut off some body parts? I'll sell them for you. Like,
yeah.
I don't have any eggs to give you anymore. So
Yeah,
sorry,
right.
can't give you another born.
No
But
shit.
it's a lot. And I feel like the overwhelming feeling of not being prepared and not having your partner with you, it's more devastating than I could have ever imagined. Ever. If you had told me 10 years ago, hey, what would you do if Brian died and you didn't have a will? I'm
Fuck
like, oh,
that
I would be
a year
fine.
ago.
Yeah, I would be totally fine. I would be
I'm
totally
like,
fine. I'd figure it out. Are you fucking kidding me, Adrienne? No, you're not going to be okay. This is changing me at the cellular level.
yeah, yeah, you will forever be changed.
Yeah.
That's that is absolutely part of it. What do you think, if you could go back and talk to the version of yourself from January, what do you think you would say to yourself?
God, I don't even know. Like thinking about that person,
Mm-hmm.
just like the person that I was in January was like a little, I don't even know, just like a shell of myself. Like it wasn't even me. It was like I was gone. And now I'm trying to get back, but it's like I don't want to get back.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, because you're not getting back, you're going
Yeah,
forward.
I'm going forward
And you're
without him.
leaving, right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
without everything I planned.
And who you were with him.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. I don't want to fucking change. Like I don't want to be
I mean,
single in the IRS. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I don't
I
want to
know.
be a widow. I don't want to be the one that's alone at every dance competition for Mallory or that's sitting
Yeah,
at the banquet table alone next year. You know, I don't want to be the one that's going to go to Parents Weekend for Campbell by herself. You know,
yeah,
if I can even make it to Parents Weekend,
yeah,
you know, it just feels so daunting. It feels so daunting. And no matter what people that I love and care for me and all of my friends and my family, like everybody that's supporting me, if I didn't have that support, where the fuck would I be? I'd be even worse. If I
yeah,
didn't have an outlet like this podcast to be able to share my story and share your stories and share all of our stories with other people, that's like, we're not alone. Like I've
yeah,
been listening to amazing widow podcasts out there with
yeah,
such great content. I haven't had any of them say yet, this financially is where I am.
yeah,
Like I am financially fucked
yeah.
and I don't have a choice and I will
And
suffer from forever for this.
and for the person that's listening now and feels overwhelmed by everything that's going on for their own aftermath and grief, what would you want them to know?
I feel your pain.
Yeah,
And I would say like the one thing that you can do is educate yourself, you know, ensure that you're asking all the right questions. Um,
yeah,
and then have people that you can talk to,
for sure.
have people that you can invest in and that you don't feel like guilty of. I mean, I always will feel guilty about like dropping my problems on other people's doorsteps. Right. But I also feel like I do my best to try to also be there to pick up the packages that people leave on my doorstep,
For sure. We're
you know?
stronger together than we are alone.
Exactly. So
That's
like,
just the way it is.
yeah. So
It's
like
part of the human condition.
when I feel like with you, you know, what you've been going through, I've been able to put my shit aside and be there for you in a way that makes me feel better about my shit too. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I did it to you first.
Yeah. Yeah, you
I
did.
mean, that's
Yeah,
what
you
I
did.
did.
Yeah, you did.
There was absolutely nothing I could do. You
Yeah.
think you have cancer, but until they get the actual data that comes back and says, yeah, you're positive for this, like you don't know. And so that whole time was like two whole months, I think,
Yeah.
where I didn't know if I was dying or not.
Yeah. And
And
then,
that was really hard to deal with. But in that time, Brian left us.
yeah.
And so I was able to just switch gears and focus on just what can we do for Adrienne?
Yeah.
What are we doing for the girls? What are we doing here? What are we doing there? Um, and it just made it my burden a little more tolerable.
Yeah. I think that's what it is.
That's
It's more of
really,
like,
I think it's it.
yeah.
I'm still
Yeah.
carrying it.
Yeah,
It's still
exactly.
there,
Nothing's changed. It doesn't
but
disintegrate, but it almost feels like if I can help someone else get through their
yeah,
bullshit, then
absolutely.
my bullshit becomes a little bit more tolerable. Even if it's
Yep.
just a millisecond of tolerableness, you know. But it's not about
It's a
like
great distraction technique.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think that's
Right?
why like working and being at work and you know, personal training and Pilates and gyrotonic and yoga and working with my clients, like that is my outlet to keep myself sane, is to keep moving forward where I can see progress, right? And
Well,
see
yeah. I
what's
think it's funny
happening.
that we're talking about this because you and I, um, anybody that has worked with us in person knows that we're both extraordinary at the distraction game.
Oh my God, yeah. Hmm.
And so
Yeah.
even we can get you to do things you would never otherwise do.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's because we have distracted you by doing some crazy other shit with a yoga block that you've never seen before in your life.
Exactly. 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 I know,
So
100%.
yeah,
Well, and like I said to Carrie today when I was leaving work to come back home, I was like, wow. I said, Nora and I were talking about the year of the fire horse. And I said,
Yeah.
but that fucking fire horse is killing me. My spur is stuck in the stirrup, and that motherfucker is running through fire right now, dragging my ass behind it.
Yep,
And I'm
you're
just
just
hitting
dragging
every
along
rock.
the dirt. Yep.
I'm hitting every rock and bump in my face.
Yeah.
Fuck off, fire
And
horse.
meanwhile, I'm riding that bitch bareback, just holding on to her mane as fucking tight as I can, trying not to be flown off the back of the horse.
Exactly.
Good grief.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just holding on for dear life.
Yeah. You are riding it. I'm being dragged behind. I'm a drag along. Oh, fuck us,
For
man.
now.
I mean, but here's the thing that's like, the whole purpose of this podcast is we didn't plan for any of this to happen, but we are still here and we are still trying to put one foot in front of the other. We are still trying to, model behavior for our kids and support our kids. And, the grieving process for both of them is so much different than I ever expected. And then to feel so ill-equipped to handle it and to feel like, am I making it worse? Probably. I mean,
well,
get the therapy
you
dollars.
became a single parent.
Yeah.
On top of everything else, you became a single parent. That's a new identity that you have to hold now.
Yeah.
That you haven't had to hold before.
Yeah.
And that's another layer.
It's just not at all. And I mean, I don't know. Like, yeah, we could have done better, right? We could have done way better. We could have been better with our money. We could have been better planners. But I thought that we were planned. I thought we were. And that's also a big lesson in this for me too is.
Yeah, I would say that would be something that you would want to shout out to people too. Is like, hey, make sure you get your ducks in a row.
Get your shit together. Do a will.
Get a will.
From what I've gathered, there's a couple different things that you can do. Like when I went through the death doula certification, there's a website, I think it's called 5wishes.org. And that's a way that you can kind of do like your advanced directives or kind of what you want your, will to look like. A lot of times they can accept a will if it's in your own handwriting. It doesn't have to be like notarized and filed. They will accept a will if it's videotaped with you speaking it. So yes, do your best to put everything that you want down. Like, what do you want done with your body? Where do you want to be buried? Do you want to be cremated? What do you want to be wearing? What do you want your people to do at your funeral? Do you want to have a funeral?
Right.
Do you have a DNR? What do you want to happen with your house, with your car, with your kids, with your family? Like, we have to start to think about those things because as a society, we don't want to talk about death. We don't want to talk about these things because it's icky and it's uncomfortable. But I'll tell you right now, the most uncomfortable thing is what I'm going through right now. I'll have a conversation 20 times out of 20 to make sure that this doesn't happen. Because this is the worst possible situation for me to be in. And I may not come out well. I may not come out like I spent most of the afternoon yesterday trying to find my notebook that has my in 25 years I'll be ... I know I have it someplace, so I got to keep looking for it because I have to redo it. And so even this morning when I was thinking about it, I was like, well, in 15 years, I'll be, 66 years old, 1 year away from retirement. 1 year away from retirement in 15 years. And nothing that I had planned in that book, in that paper, in that journal is the same. So what's next? And I don't know. I don't know what's next, but I didn't know what was next back then. It was just, where did I want to feel? Who did I want to be around? Where did I want to be living? What did I want to be doing with my time, effort, and energy? That concept is gone right now. And I need to get that handled so I feel grounded and ready for this fucked up life that I have now.
Yep.
But we're here. We're going to get through it together. But if any of the listeners, if this, resonates with you, or if you have somebody that's going through the same kind of thing, reach out to them, share this episode with them. You know, it is really daunting to lose somebody, number one, and to lose your partner, but then to lose your financial and, kind of just bare bones stability in your life, knowing that that all is changing. It's scary. And we may not know the answers, but just be on the phone or make a phone call or send a text. Let those people know that you care about them. There's not really much you can do because they need to get through it on their own until they ask for help.
Yep.
So that's it. That's all I got. It's a fucked up world. Mic drop.
Yeah. It's a
Like,
fucked up world, but we're still here.
But we're still here. And that's why we're doing the in case of emergency press play episodes, so that you have one section that you can go to, and when you see that cover art, you just go right to it, press play. There's going to be a few released, each week. Natalie's going to do some with me. Hopefully you'll do a couple with me too, and Mia, and we'll just share different moments to pause, different practices. Breathing really has been the only thing besides meditation that's kept me going and feeling at least like, yes, you can take another breath,
Yeah.
So I think that having these tools available for you to access whenever you need to, that to me is important to get out there. So thank you.
If anybody can learn from our pain, please make it better for us.
Yeah, make it better so you don't have to go through the same shit that we went through. Like those dumb bitches.
Yeah.
I know. Well, thank you for interviewing me.
You're welcome.
And thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. See ya. If this conversation meant something to you, share it with someone who might need it too, or reach out and tell us what landed with you at Yoga Changed on Instagram. And before you go, take a breath. Take a second. You don't have to have everything figured out right now. We didn't plan for this, but we're here.